Hello?
I love you.
There's a SpongeBob episode I watched recently. It's a pretty well-known one. I actually don't remember specifically what it was called, but it's probably just called Chocolate or Chocolate Salesman. It has a few notable quotes from it, namely,
Chocolate! 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 Chocolate!
and to briefly explain the plot of the episode, SpongeBob and Patrick figure a way. Well, they're inspired by Squidward to become an entrepreneur. They're inspired by Squidward to become entrepreneurs, I should say, because they're reading some magazine of these people that live fancy, and Squidward explained they're able to do that because they have companies and sell stuff. So anyway, they're like, oh, okay, we'll sell some stuff ourselves, and they decided on chocolate bars. I can hear Patrick's voice in my head. He's like, what's something SpongeBob was asking him, well, what's something we can sell that people would like? And after going down a list of like ideas, a chocolate bar, and so that's what they went with, and so they started selling chocolate bars. And I will say they weren't particularly the best salesmen because they kept getting duped by this one guy into buying his stuff when they were supposed to be selling things. But that is actually a good representation. It's not a knock on them, like, oh, they're so bad at it. Anything you have any intention of becoming good at, you have to be willing and even okay with being bad at it at first, because that no one wakes up, and I always go back to the music example, but because I play instruments, it's like no one wakes up and can play an instrument super well their first try. Now, of course, there are child prodigies and examples of, okay, they have some ability that seems almost inhuman, but the point being, in most cases at least, in virtually all cases, you're not going to be great at something initially. So that is very realistic that they sucked initially. But by the end of the episode, they did have some success in what they were doing. So yeah, again, that's perfectly realistic, that you suck at it, but you do eventually, if you stick with it, you get better. But in any case, throughout the episode, as they're selling these chocolate bars and buying things to carry them with and trying different strategies, they run into this guy that he's probably the most popular character in the episode, and he keeps yelling about the chocolate. Now, because of how, what would the word be? Because of how loud he's being and how expressive he is, they're not entirely sure that they can't be sure that his intentions aren't hostile in some way. And so, as I said, they keep running into this guy, or vice versa. He keeps finding them, and he's just yelling about the chocolate. Come the near end of the episode, and he finally catches up to them. And that's what he says. He's like, finally, I caught up with you. I've been trying to find you guys all day.
Finally! I've been trying to catch you boys all day! Now that I've got you right where I want you, I'd like to buy all your chocolate.
And then he tells them, I would like to buy all your chocolate. The impediment to action is the action. What stands in the way becomes the way. That's a quote from Marcus Aurelius. And perhaps the way that some people interpret it, even the way that I am, wasn't the way I'm about to, isn't necessarily the way that it was written to be interpreted. But something I came to a conclusion I came to for myself a while ago is the interpretation that most encourages you to be better and to be your best and true self. That's the right interpretation for you. So, point being, it's like, don't get bogged down by, oh, is this what the writer meant though? Initially, it's like, well, is it helping you do better? Then that's the best thing you can get out of it. But in any case, yeah, it's that is exactly the case. What stands in the way becomes the way. It is oftentimes the case that the thing you're avoiding, there are many different ways to articulate the idea. It's like the thing you're searching for is in the work that you're putting off, something like that. As I said, many ways to to say it and ways that it has been said. But it is true. It's like, okay, oh man, reading this book when I could be doing something else that has much more of a higher dopamine effect for much less effort. It's a difficult task to do, but it's like, okay, you start doing the little things like that. You read a page out of a book, you read the chapter, and it's like, okay, this has been waiting for me the whole time, and now my life is going to improve because of having done it. Again, the work you're putting off. That the magic lies in the work you're putting off. Even within my own life, there's an occupation or a couple that I wouldn't have really ever seen myself taking part in, let alone would I have had any desire to do it. But as I've done the thing that I've been putting off, it's just added to my life so much, and it's taught me so many lessons. And again, it just comes back to the idea, like within the episode, they were avoiding this thing because, yeah, fair enough, it seemed like he didn't have altruistic intentions, but again, it's a perfect representation of the thing they're avoiding turned out to be exactly what they needed. Oh, and I can't remember if I explained what the conclusion of the episode was. He did buy all their chocolate, and they made a bunch of money from it. And I think, what did they end up buying? Was it jewels or something? Now I have to know, actually. I'd like to buy all your chocolate. Okay, chocolate episode. Oh. Good evening, sir. Oh, I love it. Okay, that's right. They didn't purchase. Well, I guess they made a purchase. They rented out in the entirety of a fancy restaurant and took. They had dinner with the two older ladies that they met in the episode. They had dinner with them. That's all. That is so funny. But anyway, they their initial goal was the fancy living, and they got to have an adventure in their process of achieving that. So let's even assume that they didn't achieve in the end what they set out to. It just reminds me of something I heard someone say one time. It's a very vague way of saying it, but it's like we didn't get what we came for, but we got what we needed. And yeah, you oftentimes look back and it's like, well, whether you're in a great spot now and, like I said, got exactly what you desired in the end, whether you did or didn't, you look back and it's like, wow, I still have I have a full life, and that was quite the adventure to even get to where I am now. So anyway, I hope that the main point makes sense. The thing that you're putting off, the thing that you're avoiding, is probably precisely the thing you need to do. There might be a learning curve to it. It's not going to be the instant you start eating better, the instant that you start journaling a little bit, you're going to feel amazing about it. That could happen, and I guess you could pray that it does, but some things most good things you have to stick it out to see the results of it. But it'll be worth it. Any endeavor that's to improve yourself. Now, don't misconstrue that to mean kind of the inverse of like the things you like doing, you have to avoid doing it. Now, if it's some kind of vice or bad habit, then you fully acknowledge that. Like, just to use examples I'm privy to. Okay, not that I have the worst diet ever, but the point being is like I try to eat well, and part of me would like to do the inverse. So that would be an example of, okay, this is like a desire that's like a lower desire, and I have to get it under wraps. Okay, fair enough. But there are certain interests you have that you don't have to avoid. So again, what's in the way becomes the way. Do the thing that you're putting off that will improve you, but the exact inverse isn't necessarily the case, where it's like, I have this interest, I like to play music, but I like to do it, so therefore I shouldn't be doing it. It's like, no, that don't get it twisted. Your personality and the specific way, the specific shape that your strength ought to take, it was all designed by God for a reason. So don't think that because you have an interest, as I said, You have to not pursue it. Hone in your interests, actually, and use them for the most good. And as Jordan Peterson and I now say, bring your value to the surface. Speaking of Jordan, pray for him when you think of it, due to his current medical situation. Again, I hope the point makes sense. What's in the way becomes the way. What stands in the way becomes the way. That, I guess, that would be the main quote here. I guess another one that comes to mind is live a life worthy of the calling with which you've been called. Do the things that might be uncomfortable, might be inconvenient, might be what you've been putting off your whole life, knowing full well you got to hop to it. Be encouraged by challenge, not discouraged. Responsibility isn't easy, but it's what makes you powerful. You can't skip the hard part because that's where you grow. Conquer the world by conquering yourself. Well, thank you so much for watching. I really do appreciate it, and I sincerely hope that this helps you in one way or another. So apply it today, the lesson. Apply it whenever and wherever applicable. If you don't know Christ, there's no better time, no better day to meet him than today. It says in the word that if you confess with your mouth Jesus as Lord and believe in your heart that God raised him from the dead, then you will be saved. There's no better decision you can make than that. If this video resonated with you at all, then you'll probably like my other videos, so do check them out over here. I've got a whole playlist of them. It's in one spot, so it's easy for you to access. In any case, thank you once again so much for watching. Remember to treat others the way that you want to be treated, to love God and to love your neighbor, and therefore you will be your best self. I've been the Stoic Sponge. Again, thank you for watching, and as always, it's an honor.